how would you say your influences have played a big part in the cosplay that you do? And how did you even come across these influences?
I have always been nerdy. I even as a child, I loved watching X-Men and Spider-Man and all the other cartoons that were on early morning, particularly Pokemon. I was a huge Pokemon fan. Sort of through my teenage years, I kind of lost it a bit because, you wanted to fit in and you're a bit of a nerd if if you're into that. And I just got to the point where in my life I just decided that this is me and this is who I am and this is who I want to be. So I felt like I had a good few years of trying to catch up on everything I'd missed out. The accessibility to comic books due to its upping popularity was so much easier. And it's one of the things that I definitely started to do when I was at Comic Cons, is starting to buy the comics of all the characters that I absolutely loved. Then reading them, looking more into the characters and looking at what next to read. And I found inspiration from these stories, and then, like I say, not only from comic books, but then going back and watching some of the 90s cartoons that I used to watch as a kid, which was incredibly nostalgic and sometimes shockingly bad. And some of the cultural stuff, you just kind of go, well, that wouldn't fly these days. It kind of grew from there. So I always sort of, don't get me wrong, of course, I keep my finger on the pulse on what's new, what's coming up. But I also make sure that everything that I'm doing is something I love, something I enjoy. Because if you don't enjoy it, there's no point. I like to keep my own I like to make it accurate, but put my own spin on it, put my own mark on it, something that's me, whatever that may be. Because I don't want to be a clone, I don't want to be a copycat, I want to be me, but I want to be me as the character. So I always kind of draw inspiration from the artists, the characters themselves, and of course what's trending, because we all want to be we all want to be on the pulse. We want to be doing what's cool and what's up and coming. So that's kind of where I get my inspirations from.
It's interesting that you say that you keep your thumb on the pulse and you know what's coming up, you know what's popular, because I find that some cosplayers, they have to battle with that a little bit. They have to
Yeah,
figure out if they want to exclusively do characters that they enjoy, which those characters may not be super popular
yeah.
depending on the series or depending on
Mm.
the year even. But then there are other cosplayers who will only do cosplay that is very popular, so they may be doing characters in series and investing time and starting to get to be known as this person who cosplays this character, but they really have no interest in that character. The
Yeah.
fact that you have been able to find a balance is a testament to how much you appreciate cosplay, but also how aware you are of how the scene is changing over time. Not many
Yeah.
people have that foresight.
I mean, like I said, I think it's important to do what you love. I mean, I also love watching animes, and I'll be watching an anime, and it might have been popular maybe a year or so ago. I just haven't got around to watching it. And then suddenly I'll go, I get it. I love this character, but it might not even be the main character. There might be some other character within it I love. And so, I always feel like, yeah, sure, if you want to do the latest hit, then you do the latest hit, but stick to what you love. Because at the end of the day, that shows and that shines through. If you love a character, people really pick up on that. Whereas if you just do it because it gets you likes, just it doesn't really come through as being true. So I always try and stay true to myself. Yeah, I might do something that's popular and up and coming, but I'll do it because I love it. And that is the main reason for doing it. It just happens to align with what's coming up.
Do you find that the people that you are affiliated with in cosplay circles have that same sentiment? Or do you just kind of think that it's really the most popular people doing cosplay that dictate what the scene is like for everyone else?
I mean, all my cosplay friends, they do what they want to do. And again, that might align with popular trending stuff. Now, there's a lot of popular trending stuff all the time. So, it's so hard to keep up. And people who solely do that must be so stressed out because you've got to constantly be like that. And you've got to have the time and money to do it. And I just don't. So, what's the point in keeping up? And I think for a lot of people, there's a certain amount of stress that they put on themselves to be on top. And for, the top cosplayers that are out there who are doing it, a lot of the time that 1% have made it to the top. They're being sponsored. Yes, they are dictating it, but they're also being paid to do it. So to say, are they the ones dictating what's going to be popular? In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. The brand knows it's going to be popular, so they've invested in a popular cosplayer. And it's a hand-in-hand thing. And yes, people will do something because X cosplayer has done it, and they've done it to the best of their abilities, and they look amazing. And so they will copy that trend. Then you have the other end of people who, again, some of the most popular cosplayers just do it because they love cosplay. So they can set a trend of going, do you know what? I know it's not popular right now, but I'm going to do Batgirl, even though there's no new Batgirls coming out. And they'll just go, I really love the character, and they'll do it. And suddenly you'll find Batgirl stuff being sort of coming through all through the social media. So yes, they do. They do influence people, but I think, some people aren't influenced by others. They've got to, they do their own thing. So it's kind of a hard question to answer. It's like yes and no. But I would say yes, a lot of people are influenced by what the bigger people are doing. And that's fine. I sometimes look at some of my cosplay heroes and I'm like, oh, I need to do that. And then sometimes I'll have just released something and then they'll do it and I'm like, oh, we're simpatico. It's like we know we're twinsies.
Talk about being in sync, right?
Yeah, I mean, totally. They're just copying me, really.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, they're all going to dye their hair the same color as me now as well. Tell you what it is.
You're totally a trendsetter.
Yeah, well, maybe not.
Well,